Hi everyone, you're watching eSpotlight, a program brought to you by Golden Jubilee Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, popularly known as Infinity. Today I have with me an entrepreneur who knows the formula to kickstart a business and make it a sure success. I have with me Mr. Amitesh Singh Sachdev. It's such a pleasure to have you. And I would like my audience to know that he is the youngest director of novelty groups of companies.
Thank you so much, Singh.
I am very sure that it's going to be a very intriguing, interesting conversation,
yes.
And our entrepreneurs are going to learn a lot from it.
Yes.
So I'd like to start with asking you, what do you think are the prerequisites that entrepreneurs should have inculcated in their personality to become successful?
I think the biggest thing that you need to develop is have self-confidence in yourself. Believe in what you're doing. Don't be afraid of your failures. And just be firm. And if you have right intentions and you're doing the right things, one day shortly you will hit success. Maybe if not today, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but that's going to happen for sure. But if you are believing in yourself, in your actions, and you have support of the God, and I think that's the only paramount to success.
Right. So you're product of this institute, you know?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you think the incubation center like JGCEI or Infinity is going to facilitate the growth of entrepreneurs? And what is the importance of such centers?
Well, I think this is a marvelous step, I would say. I would not say an extraordinary or an outstanding. It's a marvelous step. Because, you know, what happens is today, with the connectivity all around us, the entire world is a global village. And there is a full flow of knowledge. And our young minds and our young entrepreneurs and our young students are full of ideas and creativities. Now, we need somebody who can, motivate those ideas or turn those ideas into concrete actions and steps. So they need mentorship, they need all those other things to happen. And when you have a center like this in the university, it gives those wings. And that is the entire concept of, I think, giving the wings to someone's ideas. Because these centers only give those wings, and these centers only convert those ideas into something concrete and something action. Without this, it's not going to be possible. It's just going to be remaining an idea itself only.
Right.
So I'll tell you an example. When I was young and when I was studying and we did not have these kind of options available, so I was full of, I had so many ideas into my brain. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, and I'll do that. But somehow when you get involved into your business and everything, you just focus on the entire last thing because you're not able to, because we did not have those opportunities at that point of time, right now what we had. So I just saw the incubation center and I'm thrilled, and I mean, it's outstanding from my side. And I was just telling Dr. Pati about it that it's awesome. And things like that, you have made that in Amritsar. It's great. And I'm surely successful that this is going to be great success story. And lots of, there'll be somebody sitting here down the line, maybe next 4 years, 5 years, who has made a big successful business himself. And he just had an idea and this incubation center supported him.
Right.
So I'm sure this is going to happen in next 2-3 years down the line, I'm sure. And maybe then you can call me up and say, sir, what you said on the interview, it's going to be correct.
Indeed. So if we are specifically talking about entrepreneurs, I think they need to have a specific kind of personality. It has to be a blend, where you are ready to improvise, where you're aware about your surroundings, where you're wisely intelligent about what decision to take when. How do you think these properties can be inculcated in somebody? Is it by birth, or you can work on yourself and get yourself going on the road to become a successful entrepreneur?
See, I'll tell you what I feel. By birth, of course, genes play an important role. But I cannot say this, that if somebody is not from a business family, he cannot be an entrepreneur. That's totally wrong to say. And I think the biggest things that you require, that you need in your life is discipline, number one. You need to be consistent in what you're doing, and you need to be a firm believer into the things that what you're doing are doing correctly. And above all, the personality traits that you require, you need to be humble. You need to be accepting your criticism. That's very important. Somebody criticizes you, some senior or fellow student or anybody, you must make an opportunity out of your criticism. If you're able to accept your criticism, and only then you're able to improvise upon that. And above all things, you should not be distracted with all the things going around the world today. You should be focused on your one thing at a time. And if you're focused on one thing and your intentions are clear, you have the support of the incubation center, along the mentorship and everything, I think nobody's going to stop you. There are so many, and don't be afraid of your failures. Make your failures your opportunities. Don't count them as something which is stopping you from growing across. Count your failure as an opportunity whenever you get failed. So you thank God that, okay, I've got to learn something new, so I'll make something better out of it.
Right.
Instead of just thinking that way कि okay, I'll not be able to do this, तो ये तो हो नहीं पा रहा मेरे से, क्या करना है, इसको छोड़ देते हैं. It should not, that should not be the motive. The motive should be, okay, fine, I've hit a roadblock, I've hit a failure, so no problem, I get a chance to improvise myself.
Right. So if we specifically talk about family businesses, I mean, the psychology somewhere is different, you know, is it different from the other entrepreneurs?
I don't think so. People generally think so that you have a set pattern of business and everything. As if I let you do my example, I am a fourth generation entrepreneur.
Right.
So the business I work for was started by my great grandfather. So I am the fourth generation of the entrepreneur right now. But we guys even have an equal chances. And I personally feel that once you join your family business, and if it's a successful business, you have more burden on your shoulders, more things on your shoulders. The burden is the wrong word, maybe. The more responsibilities is the correct word to say that. On your shoulders, because there has been a legacy that has been built across.
Right. By
your seniors or by your forefathers or by the generation upper to you. So you have to carry forward that legacy. You have to grow at the same pace that it was growing earlier. Or maybe you have to grow at a bigger pace than that. If you're not able to do that, then you are not able to convince yourself that yes, what value have I added into the business.
Right.
Another part is that I feel is that when you go into your family business, you must make sure that you separate ownership from the management. This I say to everybody across, that generally what people see when they go into their own businesses, they become the owners of the business, and then every decision that happens at a very personal level. So, but that it should not be like that. You should have given that equal opportunity. You should work in a very professional manner. And you see, being an owner is a separate part, but when you run the business, that management has to be a separate part. You won't believe even what I've learned from my grandfather, and this my grandfather taught me, that I have told this to entire of my people, into my juniors, maybe my accountants or anybody. I've told this to my accountant. If I do some expense on the company account, you have every responsibility to ask me where have I spent that money, why did I spend that, and why, as if you would ask any normal employee of the company. So I don't consider myself as an owner of the company when I sit in the office. I just consider myself as an employee of the company, but sitting at an elevated position of a managing director or somebody else. So I don't consider that I own everything and I own everybody. So I think that is very important. And you have to be in the same way, and the challenges are the same that you do in any startup ecosystem or anything. Even in fact, I get to a lot of ideas I discuss with this incubation center with Dr. Patya as well.
Right.
And maybe we'll be very soon launching some things. Being a fourth generation entrepreneur, still I do this. So I need this system.
So accountability and transparency are two ingredients of making a company successful.
Of course, I do believe so.
Right.
Yes.
But there's something that I really notice when it's about the family business, and especially if you're a first generation entrepreneur. So what happens is, when you start up a business, the first people to get exposure of it is your family, your friends, and your immediate circle, right? People you know. So what I have experienced it, sometimes, entrepreneurs hesitate to putting a price tag on what they are providing, especially when it's about, you provide a service, but then you feel that, you cannot ask, for amount of money from your family, the people. Do you think that somewhere is a stumbling block in the whole process?
Well, I mean, there's a different perspective to seeing those things. There are two perspectives of seeing those things. Number one, if you want that money has to be prima motive importance into it, so you need to sit with your family and tell them, boss, okay, fine, if I'm working, I need this much amount of funds for myself, and I'll be very comfortable doing it in that very perspective. One is this perspective. Another perspective is once you are into your own family business kind of a thing. So maybe, and as you said, if you're a first generation entrepreneur, then maybe it is your dad or you just carrying out the things and everything across. And then if you have a comfortable position, maybe for an example, if you're getting a salary of, if you're doing the same work somewhere outside, and maybe you're getting a salary of say 25 lakh rupees an annum, and maybe in your family business you're not getting that 25 lakh rupees an annum, and maybe you're getting just 5 to 10 lakh rupees per annum or something like that, But the another perspective that gives you that instant kick and instant sense of self-achievement is when you try and implement something in your own family business and that gets successful. The kind of recognition that you get into your own company is that level of satisfaction, I think, is much more than any kind of amount of money involved into it.
Right.
Though money is an important part, but that is a very subjective matter, I saw. But I feel that you have to have that comfortable level at that same level once you are comfortable at this position and in everything. But apart from the money part, for me, it's like this: when I try and implement something into my business, when I achieve something, the desired results, what I perceive so, and the kind of kick that it gives me is awesome. And I always keep on telling young people, I said that, okay, you go and work in some company, if you're getting a package of 20 lakh rupees or 25, 50 lakh, whatever, for campus placements, everything, that's not bad. It's not, my idea is not saying that I'm criticizing that or nothing like that. But what I'm trying to tell people is that if anybody is paying you 20 lakh rupees an annum or whatever X amount is, he's getting benefit, that company is probably getting that benefit of 80 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees per annum from you, and then only it's going to pay you.
Indeed.
So you just realize your potential. Your potential is not just 20 lakh rupees, it's almost about 80 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees. So once you do those things in your own system, ecosystem, so whatever you are, as a first generation entrepreneur, I'm saying it again, so whatever you're doing and implementing it, it's going to come back to you sooner or later in one way or the other.
Right.
So it's again that perspective that once you conceive this, that I am the owner of the company, and coming back to the same story, that I am the owner of the company, whatever benefits have been given, it should be monetized immediately. So it does not happen like that. So once you're working outside, whatever benefits you derive, it's given to your company and you get a similar amount of money.
Right.
And in the same case scenario, but there you do, whatever you do, you are doing it for somebody else. It's not going to give you that kind of instant insta mojo or insta kick or whatever, adrenaline rush, whatever you say it. I don't know how to explain it right now.
Yeah.
But once you achieve it in your own self and your own set of companies, it's going to give you huge recognition.
Right. But we see this trend that a lot of entrepreneurs start up a business. It is expected from the next generations to join that business and grow that. But we see that a lot of youngsters just don't follow that path.
Yeah.
They migrate to other countries or they take up a job.
Yeah.
So we have this mindset where they would like to get out of the family business and
Yes.
try somewhere else.
Yes.
Why do you think that scenario is present?
Unfortunately, even I don't have an exact answer to that. I am trying to figure that out still, and I'm trying to find out an answer for the same.
Yeah.
But yes, what I feel is, again, I think independence is one of the major factors for that. And the one part that you mentioned earlier is the kind of financial freedom that you get once you are working out somewhere across. Because again, as you said, once you're working in your own company and everything, if you don't have that financial freedom fixed across, see, if you're working outside somewhere, suppose a student of an MBA getting an MBA done from Guru Nanak Dev University, and his father has a textile factory, or a processing house, which is doing a decent business of say 10-15 crore rupees annual turnover, and he knows, he has seen his father's routine, he's going to his shop, and he's running a typical small kind of business. And that student gets a campus placement somewhere in Gurgaon or somewhere across for about say 20 lakh rupees or 25 rupees per lakh per annum. So what is the major driving forces that student, what I feel personally, I may be right or wrong, I don't want to just conclude it on this part, but what I feel is that student selects that because he's already thinking, okay, fine, my dad is handling the business right now, so the business part is already on auto mode. So at that point of time, he doesn't have this spirit into the mind that, okay, I need to go and grow my business.
Right.
So he says that business is already एक level पर चल रहा है, तो वो तो पापा चला रहे हैं and it's doing good. So what I need is I'll go out, gain some experience, and then I'll come back and join the business. And what happens is once that guy goes out, or he or she goes out, the student goes out, he's into a different world of corporate world. He goes into different very nice, finely swanky offices, hustle bustle of a major city. So he goes into a complete glamour world, actually, let me tell you. So that glamour attracts him a lot. So once he starts with doing job he initially thinks that I'll do job for 1 year and then I'll get that exposure and come back and join my family business. And then that 1 year becomes 2 years, 2 years becomes 3 years, 3 years becomes 4 years, and then suddenly one point of time, इतनी देर में कुछ हमारे एंड पर भी ये हो जाता है कि पेरेंट्स भी कुछ ऐसा बोलना शुरू कर देते हैं, क्योंकि a father may be 50, 55, 45, 50, so he's all set across that business. तो अब वो ग्रोथ की उनकी जो फोकस का और वो जो ट्रेजेक्ट्री रहती है दैट्स नॉट वेरी हाई. So they also start saying, no, the business is stagnant, ab manda ho gaya hai, it's slow down time, blah, blah, all those kind of things. Because they have not grown with, they have not evolved over the time that the way the market has evolved.
Right.
So the student also hears all these kind of stories. So that kind of motivates him that why do I have to go and work hard out there? Let me go, and it's a glamorous world. That glamour attracts him a lot. And then he gets involved into that. This is number one, maybe the one part of the story. Another part is again the financial freedom that, as I mentioned you earlier. Right. So he's getting an amount of about 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees into his account every month. So that kind of financial freedom he has. So he can do whatever money, whatever he wants to do, and he or she wants to do with that money, he can spend on himself and blah blah kind of things. And yes, another unfortunate part is the brain drain which is happening on the foreign lands. So that's something, again, I think two things attribute to it. Number one is the financial freedom. And number two is what we say is the kind of moving out to a different world and living in a different battle, because it's the glamour that attracts across.
Right.
And the quality of life is obviously better out there.
Would it be right to say that the rigidity of expectations that there is from the next generation really impacts, because the generation is expecting something from you and they want it a particular way that I think goes in the Indian society like that. I mean, we have a culture like that.
Yes, I think you can say this. This might be one of the reasons. This might be one of the instances in some part of the cases. I would not say everyone, because again, the parents are too liberal these days. It's not like that. They are not liberal. The parents are very much liberal. I feel it that way. But again, let me tell you, I think this cannot be deterrent, because as I said earlier, I am a very optimistic person. So I need to find the opportunity from every roadblock. If there is a roadblock which is being hit across either by the rigidity of the family or your parents or anybody else, but then again, you just need to find the opportunity within that. And I think at the same time, the parents also need to understand that once a child joins the business, so he has to be given some sort of a freedom and free hands into the things. And one more thing, the kind of experience and the kind of expertise your father or your the first generation of entrepreneurs who has set across the business, the things that you can learn from them, you can't learn from anywhere, any university, any business coach, anything, anywhere across. So I think so in that way.
So when we had an interaction before this, you said this right now that you're a very optimistic person, right? So that goes a long way. I mean, the kind of attitude that you're having towards your employees, the kind of environment that you create in your workplace, that goes a long way. And I read in your bio earlier that you're a very spiritual person and you bring that into your workplace as well. How do you think that boosts the overall environment?
I think that is the biggest support. I don't have numbers for saying it. It comes on the top of the list. The kind of the spiritual knowledge that you get and the spiritual power, the power that enables you, heals you from within itself, and the kind of thing it gives you, that confidence, being connected spiritually, meditating and that kind of thing, it's explainable beyond the words. I think it's something you are going to realize it when you feel it actually happening it. And because these days lot of frustrations and angers and everything happens across in every part of the business. Even in the student life, even if you're not doing a business also, even if you're in a student life, students out here are pretty frustrated and pretty bad, and they just, everybody is looking after seeing this, that the grass on the other side is always green.
Right.
But we don't find the opportunities that we are out here in the place where we are right now. And we have enormous opportunities. Let me tell you, there's no dearth of opportunities. So you just need to find those things around yourself. जैसे वो कहते हैं ना कि भगवान आपके आसपास के आपको ढूंढना पड़ता है, आपको ढूंढना नहीं पड़ता है, आपको महसूस करना पड़ता है. So just to realize and feel that power within yourself, you need to connect with yourself. The entire objective of spirituality and meditation is that you need to connect with yourself.
Right.
And I think once you connect with yourself, your inner self, your inner conscious gives you a lot of, shows you a lot of ways and gives you a lot of opportunities in these roadblocks and failures. So I think that is my biggest strength, and that is my biggest mantra of success, whatever you want to call it. And I would rate it on the topmost part.
But when you're managing a company as big as Novelty Groups, you hire a lot of people.
Yes.
They all come from different backgrounds, they have different kind of conditioning, different personalities, right?
Yes.
But when they all come together and make one company, there could be employees who just don't agree with your vision, right? There could be employees who don't follow the kind of path, that you think is appropriate for the whole company. So how do you deal with such employees? Do you focus on inculcating those properties, characteristics somehow in their personality, or you follow a different path?
See, once, we have a huge amount of people into our organization. So the entire objective is, once they join Novelty Group, is to make a better human of them than what they were earlier. So this is our main objective, that what we try and do at Novelty. So we just don't emphasize on the things. I don't press them on the path that I'm using it to do it. But I just tell them that, okay, boss, this is what we need to do and this is what we want to achieve it. And I think this is the best way to go ahead and do it. In case if you have a better way to go ahead and do it, you let me know. I'll be able to accept your way. I'll be able to readily go along your way in your path if your way is a better manner in a better thing. So this is how we do across the things, and we are not rigid on any part. So we are a very open organization. We have people with us who have been working in this organization since last about 40-45 years. So our attrition rate is very less, and I think that's a blessing from the universe that we have, that and the blessing that our forefathers has given us. So we had people in our organizations who have worked with like four generations of the family. So they worked with my great grandfather, who was founded the Novelty Group, worked with my grandfather, my father, and myself as well. So having these kind of people in your organization, it's a blessing. I personally believe. And human resource is your biggest asset. I believe you make whatever assets you want. I mean, any amount of tangible assets that you have on your balance sheet are very less compared to the amount of human resource that you have. So to have that thing, you have to accept them as a family, accept them with your open arms and with open ideas. I have told my team very categorically that I'm not a boss which just wants my decisions to be implemented. No. Any decision that I make, anything that what we need to discuss and implement, I am open to all of your ideas. Whatever you want to give me, and you are to get the things towards implemented, and you are to do the things. I am not somebody who is going to go and get the things implemented or done somebody. So this is where we accept everybody, and we every day is an endeavor that we need to evolve into a better human being with every passing day, with every passing moment.
Right. So if you're talking about second generation and third generation entrepreneurs, I think when you have a business running successfully, even if you fail, you have a cushion to fall back upon. But when you're a first generation entrepreneur, you might fail so many times before you make that mark, right?
Yes.
A lot of people just decide to leave that dream and to get a job. So there is no entrepreneurial legacy that's going to follow if that first generation entrepreneur takes back. So what do you think should be an approach, especially while dealing with the failures?
Of course, I mean, you are very rightly said that, with the second and third generation entrepreneurs, we do have a cushion. But at the same time, the amount of failure, the volume of failure increases with the kind of volume of success that you need to grow. Second, third generation entrepreneur has to accept those kind of failures. And again, as I said you earlier, the biggest challenge for a second or third generation entrepreneur is not to just carry on doing the business. The challenge is to grow that business at a faster pace, what earlier generations were doing it, number one. Number two, and for that reason I would like to reply for the first generation of entrepreneurs. Yes, you are right in this perspective. Sometimes you hit a roadblock, you hit a failure, wherein you tend to say that you don't have that cushion to continue that business and continue that entrepreneurship journey, and then you towards going to a job or doing a consultancy or something, whatever it is. But at the same time, I will again say it in this manner. Sometimes when we have this inception into our mind that we want to start up at a particular scale, at a particular level. Even if we start up at a lower level, at a junior level, at a small kind of a thing level, and I think the dream of entrepreneur, maybe the money making would be lesser, but the taste of success and the kick that success gives you is going to be great. Let me tell you by putting it in an example. Suppose you started out a business and you hit a failure. somehow you had to shut that down because your capital finished across, and then you had to shut it across and start doing a job and everything. So my idea of doing it would be, if you do a job for 10 years and maybe your earning per month per annum would be 20 lakh rupees or something like that ways. And if you're doing that same job on a lower scale, maybe your earning in the job could be 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees for a period of say 10 years. So but what will happen? There will come a day for sure, because what will happen, entrepreneur journey is as such that once you do a job, your base is 20 lakh rupees. So maybe you will start raising slowly. In 10 years span of time, you'll reach up to 50 lakh, 60 lakh or whatever it may be. And if you're very lucky enough, then you may reach up to maybe sky is the limit, because that's a different kind of blessing. So exceptions are always there. But in entrepreneurial journey, how does it happen? If your base is like 5, 10 lakh rupees, maybe it's at the same level for another 4, 5 years. But yes, one day is gonna come for sure. It will shoot up to say 80 lakh, 90 lakh or 100 lakh rupees. So that is the right time. It may strike now, it may strike tomorrow, it may strike day after tomorrow. We don't know that as of now. But yes, definitely it's gonna be striking across. Another part, once you are doing a job, maybe you're doing a job or you are into some corporate jobs for throughout your life and everything. So whatever you're doing it for your own generation.
Right.
Whereas on the contrary, if you started as an entrepreneurial journey in this venture right now, and you're a first generation set of entrepreneurs, even if you're not earning that much as you would be earning in a corporate job or somewhere else, but you are leaving a legacy for your next generation to come across and carry forward and take it forward. And that's how I think family businesses built across and built up to a certain level. So let me tell you this thing, why are so family legacy businesses so famous in India? Because India is a very relatively young country. So we got independent in 1947. At that point of time, there were no job opportunities available. There were no corporates, nothing of that sort. So what people had in their hand was just entrepreneurship. So they started with very small, meager entrepreneurship. Like my great-grandfather started by doing his business he used to do a cart of tea and snacks outside the district court. And from there on, the place where Novelty Sweets is built today, that's how we started. So we started a very small, meager sweet shop at that place by taking that place on rent.
Okay.
So now that entire place that we started as a rental property in year 1950. So today we are owning at least, I would say, 20 times of that size rental property on that particular piece of land itself. So we are owning around 20 times the size of the land on which my great-grandfather started as the entrepreneurship journey. So that was in the year 1950.
Right.
So that's the power of entrepreneurship. So I'll have one more other people in my life. I've just known them. They're chartered accountants by profession. Their father was working in a government electricity department. So he retired as an executive engineer. So he became himself a chartered accountant. But he had this power of entrepreneurship journey. And today, his entire family, he himself, his both the brothers, and that entire family is reaping the fruits of that entrepreneurship journey. So entire family is running all those businesses that just sprouted out of those one business that he started across.
Right.
Being a chartered accountant himself. So I think that's entrepreneurship has a compounding effect actually.
Okay, but you have entrepreneurship running in your blood. You have a legacy, right? But from 1950s till date, you must have heard stories from your grandfather, great-grandfather about, how the environment has evolved in the country.
Yes.
How do you think it's different? How do you think it's becoming more favorable for the entrepreneurs?
I think this is the best time, this is the best moment. I told you, when we were young enough, when I was 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, I had a plethora of ideas. I used to discuss those ideas, a lot of that with my father. But that time, we did not have those resources. We did not have those mentorship. We did not have those ideas like we did not have the support of incubation centers that you have right now.
Right.
So at that point of time, a lot of those ideas could not be conceived because to start up a new business at that point of time, you just did not need an idea, but you need to have an idea and a very success replication of that business happening around somewhere around the country so that you can bring it out here, because you need to be short of your success, because again you did not have that cushion that point of time. Supposedly, if somebody has a great idea today, any student from your university has an idea. So what is he gonna do? What does he need to do? He needs to get an idea, walk away straight into the incubation center, and then incubation center will hold his hand and try and bring that idea to a concrete action.
Right.
Now, sorry, incubation center is going to provide them with the mentorship, with the process which will be happening around all the legal processes and the legal hassles and everything, right from registration of the company, right from IPR rights of the company, of that idea and everything, and converting that idea into a commercial viable project.
Right.
Entire process, not just limited to that, arranging for a financial package from the government, arranging from a strategic investor in the form of industry. That entire support incubation center can give.
And I think that's where you need,
of course, yes,
most of the support.
Of course, yes. So these things were earlier not available in the years which I would part out my studies and everything. So I think this is the best time for entrepreneurship to grow, and there cannot be a better time. And India, the growth story, everybody knows it, and it's gonna be, I mean, it's one of the fastest growing economies in the world as of now, and you don't have any dearth of opportunities there. And I'm sure all the students going across out there today, going to the foreign universities and all those things, I would say not all of them, but I'll say at least I expect around a quarter or half of them to return back somewhere around 5 or 10 years down the line.
Right.
Because the financial incentives, financial freedom that you're going to get in India, you're not going to get anywhere across, either in Canada or in Australia or any other countries that you're going across. You can go across out there, studies, get those experience and implement those in your country, and the kind of opportunities that we have in our country by grace of God. This is the time for India to grow. This is the time that India has it right now.
So a lot of entrepreneurs are going to watch this interview.
Of course.
Any motivation that you want to give them, you can just directly give.
I just want to tell them the same story. Believe in yourself, and whatever you want to do, just do it, bang on, and just start doing it. Don't be considered and don't be fragment about it, about the failures, and don't be fearful about your failures at all. Just go and hit bang upon, and you have support. The kind of support that you have today is enormous, and the kind of potential that you have today is enormous. So this is the right time for entrepreneurship to grow. If you are not doing it right now, you cannot do it anytime. Believe me.
All right. It was such a great interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us.
Thank
you so much. Thank you so much. We're so grateful for all of you to tune in. Stay connected to us, and we'll be coming with more interactions. Thank you.